Welcome back to the World Trade Webcast, your source for news, analysis, and information about doing business worldwide. I'm Greg Sandler, president of ThinkGlobal.com, the B2B marketplace for global trade leads. This week on the World Trade Webcast, we're talking with the U.S. Commerce Department's Craig Allen about the upcoming Discover Global Markets Conference in New York, which will focus on business opportunities in Greater China. Craig's the Deputy Assistant Secretary for Asia at the International Trade Administration. Craig, we've covered a lot of ground the last couple of days. Thank you and welcome back.
Thank you very much.
So today, let's continue our short course on doing business in China with an overview of opportunities and business strategies for companies that are thinking about breaking into the Chinese marketplace.
Well, terrific. Again, thank you very much for this opportunity. For an American company to get started in China, I would posit that you need to consider three important items. And the first is to get an understanding of the nature of your market in China. Who are your competitors in China? Are they Chinese companies or European companies, Japanese companies, or American companies? And what are their price points? It's important to have this information so that you could judge the probability of your success in the market and your approach to the market. China is a very big country. It's larger than the United States, with a population that's over 4 times as large as the United States. And therefore, there are great regional variations. What are the regional variations for your market? Perhaps you have a fabulous market in North China and no market in Southern China. Or perhaps in Western China, you could be very successful, but not Eastern China. And having an idea of that would be very, very useful. What are the common distribution channels for your product in China? It might be quite different from the United States or Europe or elsewhere. And those are straight factual concerns that you should be aware of prior to entering the China market. The second basket of considerations that you should take to heart concern China's regulations, and in some cases, lack of regulations. Specifically, you need to have an intellectual property rights strategy, whether your company is reliant on trademarks, trade secrets, copyright, or patent. You need a strategy before entering the China market. This is a subject that's very important, a little bit complex, but you should talk to your lawyers before entering the market if your product is reliant on intellectual property right considerations. Similarly, you should be knowledgeable of the other regulatory concerns that might affect your product. And I'd like to highlight standards. Sometimes it can be expensive to meet Chinese industrial standards. Conformity compliance in China can be a chore. Sometimes it can take some time, depending on the nature of your product. You should at least know what the costs are and how much time it will take before you enter the China market. Thirdly, in the third bucket of goods, I would say finding an agent or distributor or joint venture partner or determining whether or not you want to go it alone is an important consideration for anyone entering into the China market. Usually one will start out by finding an agent or finding a partner in Hong Kong, Singapore, or Taiwan to enter the China market. But this is really dependent on your specific company and how much time and money you wish to invest in exploring the China market. But finding the appropriate partner or individual within your company to go alone is a critically important decision that you will need to make to be successful in the China market. I'm pleased to say that the Department of Commerce's Foreign and Commercial Service has services readily available to help you on all of these fronts. We've developed a toolkit to help potential exporters to understand some of these challenges and our Are You Ready? Are You China Ready assessment is readily available on the internet. And we would look forward to working with you to get a toehold in the rapidly growing China market. Thank you.
Well, thank you, Craig. Those are 3 excellent points for people to keep in mind, as well as another good resource tool that should serve as a starting point for anyone interested in doing business in China. Very briefly, and I know it's a vast generalization for a country with many different markets within the big China market, but what would you say is the biggest risk that a U.S. company faces in going into the Chinese marketplace?
Well, the biggest risk that many U.S. companies will face in China is intellectual property rights. China's protection of intellectual property rights, the implementation of their law, is inconsistent. And thus, it is oftentimes hard for foreign companies to be able to protect their intellectual property rights when counterfeiters attack. One of the very serious impediments that we face is oftentimes that local courts within the Chinese judicial system will protect local economic interests, and therefore, even if one has properly registered one's intellectual property in China, enforcement of the law can be challenging. Now, that's true for Chinese or European or Japanese companies equally to American companies, but it's something that we need to be concerned with. Bare minimum for everyone out there, register your intellectual property rights. This is not something that the U.S. government can help you with. Intellectual property rights are private property rights. They belong to you and your company, and therefore you must register them. If you do not register them, your government will not be able to help you. You must take the action to register your private rights in China and in other markets. Thank you.
Thanks, Craig. That's terrific advice. And again, this is a very big subject and an important subject, as Craig pointed out. And the Export.Gov website, where the toolkit that Craig mentioned is available for any exporter that wants to learn about these issues. Export.Gov is a terrific resource for that. So that's all the time we've got today. Please join us again tomorrow as we continue our conversation with Craig. We'll be talking about virtual China, e-commerce opportunities in the world's largest digital economy. And to learn more about opportunities in China, consider attending the Greater China Business Forum, a 2-day conference that will be held October 7th and October 8th at the New York Athletic Club in New York City. And more information about the Discover Global Markets China Forum is available online. And for our latest schedule of upcoming episodes, subscribe to us with any of the links below and bookmark this page. All of our previous webcasts can be found right here at thinkglobal.com/webcast. And thanks for watching.